Hello everyone, this is Venugopal. Today in this session we are going to see types of arrays in C language. So types of arrays. So there are basically two categories of arrays are there. One is one dimensional array. Second is two dimensional array. One dimensional array is also called as 1D array. This is one, this is not I. One dimensional array and 1D array, and this is called as what? 2D array. Now, what exactly mean by dimension here, right? For example, one dimensional array means already we have seen in my previous video about array. Whenever we'll talk about arrays, so by default that will be of a one dimensional array. So if I'll take one example from my previous video, that is student we have taken and we have declared with suppose 5 students. Okay, so this is one dimension. This particular one dimension means simply you have to remember like one bracket means one dimension here. Okay, so in my previous video, we have clearly seen the concept of this what one dimensional array. Then we have seen how to declare, how to initialize, and we have also seen one program to demonstrate that all one dimensional array. Then the second thing is what? The two dimensional array. So two dimensional array means what? The syntax would be like suppose int student like two dimensions. Okay, so for example, let us take some 2 and 3. I'll tell you what exactly 2 means, what exactly 3 means. So this is nothing but two-dimensional array. That means two dimension. Just I'm giving the simple idea how to recognize which one is one-dimensional and which one is two-dimensional. If one bracket is there, it is called as a one-dimensional array. If two brackets are there, then it is called as a two-dimensional array. Now, what exactly mean by two-dimensional array? Two-dimensional array, I'll write here separately, 2D array. 2D array means what? This 2D array, it is also called as matrix. This is also called as what? Matrix. Now, what exactly mean by matrix? Right? What exactly mean by matrix? Whenever you want to represent a tabular data, whenever it represents what? It represents tabular data. Whenever you want to represent a tabular data to go for two-dimensional array. So for example, if I'll say this is my tabular form. Okay, so in this tabular form, what this horizontal will call this as a, these are the rows, right? These are the rows. Horizontals are always what? They are the rows, and verticals, they are the columns. Okay, so always remember this horizontal will always represent what? Rows. And these verticals, they represents what? Columns. So whenever I want to represent a data in the form of this tabular or rows or columns, right? This is nothing but it is called as a what? Matrix. This is also called as what? Matrix. Whenever you want to represent a data in terms of matrix, then always go for what? Two-dimensional array. That is the reason why the syntax of 2D array is look like data type, then array name, and there are two brackets, and first bracket will belongs always to rows, how many rows you want, and second row represent how many columns you want. Exactly what we have discussed here, right? Here I have declared one student two-dimensional array with 2 rows and 3 columns. Now, if I want to represent this kind of matrix, Okay, so the declaration would be int. Suppose I'm declaring the name of array, or example, I'll take like a matrix. Simple. I'll declare here two dimensional means two square brackets. Then how many rows are there? Three rows and three columns. Just I'm referring to this diagram. This declaration is representing what? This declaration is representing this structure. 3 by 3. That is 3 by 3 rows by columns. 3 rows and 3 columns. This is also array. This is also array. That means this also going to consist of homogeneous data. This also consists what? Homogeneous means same kind of data. If you are declaring integer, it accepts only integer. If it is a float, then only float. If it is a char, then only characters. Now this is what the declaration part. Okay. Now how the memory representation would be. For example, if I want to exactly see the location, because I want to fill the data into this particular matrix. So how you are going to fill the data in this particular matrix? So always remember, whenever I'm giving this kind of dimensions like 3 by 3, the dimension is what? 3 by 3. So always multiply this rows and column. 3 into 3 is what? 9. So there would be 9 elements are going to be stored in 3 by 3 matrix. If the dimension would be like 2 by 3, then how many elements is supposed to store? 2 into 3, there would be a 6 elements that we need to enter into this particular matrix. So how to enter? What would be the locations? And we know that whenever we will declare an array is always start with what? 0. Array will always start with what? 0. So what would be the locations of this matrix, of this column? These are the columns. The first column is always represented by 0 only. Then 1. Then 2. Similarly, rows. First row would be 0. Second row would be 1. Third row would be naturally 2. Now, if I want to, you know that array is the contiguous memory locations. So it goes continuous wise. So if I want to hold a 10 number into the matrix, this matrix, the matrix name is matrix itself. If I want to hold 10 in this particular matrix, so how would be the declaration? How would be the initialization? Matrix, I want to store the element, first element. So first element is always will enter into which place? The subscript would be 0 and 0. That means what? 0th row, 0th column. In that position, you just store the 10 element. That means this, where is the 0, 0 location in this particular matrix? This is the 0, 0 location. 0 and 0. This location would be 0 row, first column. This location would be 0 row and third column, like this. What would be the next one? This location would be, now the row has changed. Now 1 comma 0th column. Now here 1 comma 1 column, and here 1 comma second column. Again, last one 2 0. The location would be 2 1, and the last one is 2 2. These all are the representation. These all are the subscript representation of this matrix, the index values. So if I want to hold the value at first location, my location would be 0 0. If I'll assign 10, then this 10 will be stored where? Here. If I want to store the second element, what would be the matrix location? The matrix location would be matrix 0th column only, sorry, 0th row, but the column will be changed. That is 1 now. Equals to suppose 20. Now where is the 0 and 1 column here? This is the 0th row. This is the first column. That means the 20 is going to be held here. Likewise. Then what would be the next position? This position would be 0th row and third column. But third means here the index will be 2. So I'll store 30. Now if I want to store the fourth value, now there is no fourth column available. So you need to change the row here. The row would be now what? Yes, guess, matrix. Now there is no such a row exist for fourth column. So you need to change the row now. But column would be first now again equals to the next value 40. Then the value will store here. That is 40. I hope you are getting. And so on. We are going to hold the all values. The values are going to be stored in this manner only in two-dimensional array. So whenever we will refer the two-dimensional array, always remember that we are going to deal the data which is going to be represent in tabular format or matrix format. Right? And whenever we are dealing with a one-dimensional array, suppose sequence of numbers I just wanted to store. I want to store the normal numbers like 1 to 100, 1000. I want to read 10,000 books. Okay, fine. You just declare the array with a capacity of 10,000. It will hold. But whenever you want to hold the data in the terms of rows and column in this type, whatever we are seeing in front of us, right? Then you have to use this two-dimensional array. I hope this clear. Then we will quickly move on to the initialization of the, of course, we have seen the initialization here, but I will tell you the how to initialize, static initialization of this array. Here only I will do, or else it's better to take in a once screen only. Suppose I'll delete this. Yeah, fine. Okay, suppose I want to initialize the same matrix. Okay, how to do that? At the time of declaration, I'll take some different color so that you people get in a clear idea. I'll take int matrix. And suppose I'm taking like a compulsory, you have to, here I'll take a 3 because already I've given the demo. 3 by 3 equals to 3 rows, 3 columns, right? So here how to initialize this? There are multiple options, but I'll suggest one best option. That is, suppose I want to initialize 3 rows and 3 columns. So in first row, I want like 10, comma 20, comma 30, comma. This will be of first row. Then for second row, again take the curly braces and take 40, comma 50, comma 60. This is second row and all three column values, comma. Then last one, right? What is the last one? 70, 80 and 90, then semicolon. Either you can take this like, or you can put a curly braces for whole data, and then inside you make a subsets of this. Okay, so how they are going to be stored in this particular this array? I'll tell you. I think you are getting right. So this 10 will be stored in the first row, first column. 20 will be stored first row, second column, first row, third column. Then the column row will be changed. Likewise, it is going to be stored. This is one way. And always remember, like your one-dimensional array, whenever we have initialized the array at the time of declaration in the one-dimensional array, right? We are there and choice that you, if you don't want to mention the size, that would be okay in your one-dimensional array. But here it is not going to be possible. Compulsorily here you have to mention the size of the array, even though you are declaring the variable at the time of declaration. Right? That is what the one difference between the one-dimensional array and second-dimensional array. Okay. So what we will do, we will quickly take one simple program to better understand this array. Okay. And one more thing is what, whenever in my previous video only, I said in the one-dimensional array, right? Whenever you are using what arrays, then compulsorily you have to use loop statements, because see here now 9 elements are there. So to printing 9 elements, right? We are not going to write the 9 printf statements. Only will write one type of printf statement. Only the thing is what? We will change the index value. Like here 0, 0, 0, 1, like that. So one dimensional array, whenever you're using one dimensional array, you have to use only one loop. But whenever you're using a two dimensional array, you have to use two loops. That is also called as nested loops. Now we are going to use what? Nested loops. One loop inside another loop. That is called as a nested loops. Why two loops? Because one loop is for row, another is loop for column here. For example, if I want to store the values in first row, okay? So how to do that? 0th row, 0th column, 0th row, first column, 0th row, second column. Okay, first row is completed. Then you need to shift to the second row. Again, second row, first column, second row, second column, second row, third column, likewise. So there would be two loops, right? One loop will manage the rows and second loop will manage the columns. Okay, don't get confused. We will do in the program itself. Okay, so let us start with one program, practically implemented program to understand. I'll write here two-dimensional array. Okay, so hash include stdio.h void main. Now I'm going to declare what? Matrix, and 3 by 3 only I'll declare. Okay, 3 and 3. That's all. Okay, at the time of declaration, I want to initialize. Okay, so better I'll write like this. Like I want to do 10, 20, 30. It's 3 by 3. Then we'll take 40, comma 50, comma 60. Then 9 elements now, because 3 into 3 is 9. 70, 80, and 90. Okay. This is what called as a initialization at the time of declaration. Okay. Now enter. Now if I want to print, again there are two options. Either you print one by one with the index, or else with the help of what? Looping structure, right? We will print one by one value. Okay. But suppose if you want to test on what index, what value is stored. So I'll show you one demo. For example, I want to print a matrix square bracket %d. Just I am taking the some particular structure to better understand the representation. Okay, so %d means, for example, uh, the initial value would be like, if I want to see 0, comma 0, right? This is the first value. And what would be the value stored in that particular location means what? I need to write what? Matrix, because we know that if I want to read that value, I need to call this by using subscripted variable, right? In my previous video, I told you subscripted variable. This entire thing is called as a subscripted variable, and 00 is the subscript. Okay. Now I'll say this program with the name 2D array. That's it, and I'll execute. See, matrix of 00. What value we are getting? I have not given any value here, but I have initialized. The first value would be stored where here now? See, if you see the diagram, in this location, the first value is stored. Now, if I want to print the second value, what would be the index? 0th row, but the column is 1. Let us print that also. Okay, I'll take a copy of this V and I'll print \n so that it will be printed in a new line. So matrix DDD, only I need to change here 1, and here I need to change 1. And again I'll execute. You will get 20. Yes or no? Are you getting or not? Yes? Fine. If I want to print the next one, enter V. Okay. Okay. Before that, I'll show you the diagram. So from diagram, you will come to know easily. Okay. What if I want to print the third value? What is the index? 0th row and second column. Okay. So here I need to write what? 0th row, but second column. So think carefully here. For first three values, I'm changing only column, right? I'm not changing what? Row. Because in the first row only three columns are there. Yes or no? This is what the main logic. Third thing. Now you tell me if I want to print this one, fourth value. Is the fourth value is available in the same row or in the next row? Of course, in the next row. So whenever you'll start with the next row, again the column will be start with the 0th row, column. That is first column. That means if I want to print a next statement, so here I'll put a backslash n first, right? And you see what I need to change here. I need to change the row also, right? I want the second row, but the value will be first value. See the diagram? This is the second row. Yes, now this is first row. This is second row. Don't go on the index because index is always start with a 0. Second row, first column. But second row represented by 1. First column is represented by 0. So this location is what? 1, 0. Okay. That is the reason why I'm taking here what? 1, 0. So matrix of 1, 0 means it will give always the value. Okay. Well, execute this. See, you're getting a 40. Now you tell me if I want to print this last value, I'll directly print this last value. Of course, this is 50, 60, 70, 80, and this would be what? 90. I want to print this 90 value. Now you tell me the index. Yes, yes, think. I want to print that one. Yes, got it? Yes, on third row and last column it is available, right? So third row is represented by 2 and the third column is also represented by what? 2 here, right? 0, 1, 2. This is also 2. This is also 2. Yes or no? You go here and see 2, 2. So this value is what? 2, 2. Matrix of 2, 2. What is the value? 90. It should print 90. Yes or no? This is what the magic, how to print the values. But I'm not doing anything rocket science here. It's very simple logic, right? Now you tell me writing 9 times this printf is not so good programming. Okay. Only what I'm changing here, I'm changing first. I'm keeping the row 3 times common, but changing the column. Then I'm keeping again the 3 times second row common, then the column like that. Okay. So that is the reason why to print two-dimensional array or to read the two-dimensional array values, we require two loops. Now see, the same thing I will do with the two loops. For that, we need a counter variable. That is I comma j. Here I'm taking I comma j. I is for row and j is a column. These two variables generally called as a counter variable. Counter variable means they're going to count. Okay, how many times the things are going. So how to do that? Now write the first loop. The first loop I already told you, it is for what? It is for row. So 0 less than 3. Because rows are, how many rows are there? 3 rows. That is the reason why I've taken this as what? 3. So this for loop, I'll write a comment also. This is for rows. 3 rows are there, right? I want 3 columns as well. So j is equals to 0. Now j is also loop around how many times? 3 times. So less than 3 means it will go up to 2. Then j plus plus. Now inside this, what I want to this printf statement. Yes or no? Only one I will take. See how to write the logic. I'm also telling that also. All things are same. Instead of this 0, I'll take I, I'll take j. Here also, I'll take what? I'll take what? J. That's all. That's all. It will print all the values of your rows and columns. I'll multi-line. I'm using here multi-line comment. So how to use multi-line comment? See, forward slash star, and we up to where you want to comment, just put here star and forward slash. The entire line will become a comment. That means the compilers won't see this all lines here, right? This is for us only. Right? Active program is showing in a dark colors. Now, how it is going to be executed? This is for what? This is for columns. I think I no need to tell this all explanation because already we are seeing here. Now, what would happen in for loop? This is called as a nested for loop. The for loop inside the another for loop is called as a nested for loop. Now, how the loops are going to be executed? These all values will be initialized. Means all values are going to be stored in this kind of structure in table. Okay. Now, I want to print this. Okay. So, what is the value of I here? 0. 0 is less than 3. Okay. Condition is true. It comes inside. Then come again and it will see j equal to 0. That means here the I equal to 0 and j equal to 0, right? And 0 is less than 3. So here if we'll take the value I equal to 0 and j equal to also 0 comes down here. The max of %d, it's replaced by what? ij. What is ij? I is also 0, j is also 0. Fine. So 0, 0 location. %d, this thing will be replaced by the value which is located in this particular subscript. So what is ij00? What is the value in the I00? That is 10. So 10 is going to be print here. Yes or no? Perfect. After that, inner loop is going to be incremented because inner loop condition is not got false here, right? It go and it check the increment the j. So what is j? 0. What would be the value of j now? It's 1. Right? Again, check the condition. 1 is less than 3. Yes, it come inside. Printf, matrix of %d, I is what? 0. J is what? 1. That means 0th row, in a first row, and a second column. Okay. That value will be replaced. What is the second value? See, 20. It will print the 20. First, it has printed what? 10. Then it is printing 20. Okay. I'll use a tab here. I'll use a tab space. So it will print in a space. Again, the loop is going to be incremented. J will become a 2. 2 less than 3 is true. Come inside 0th row, second column. 0, second column. What is the value? The value would be this one, 30. It prints a 30. Yes. Again, this loop will be incremented. Okay, because the previous condition is not yet false. Now j plus plus, j will become what? 3 here. Is 3 is less than 3? No, right? Because we are very smart. We require only what? We require only column should be execute up to third column only. The third column is what? 0, 1, 2. That's it. If the value will become a 3, this condition will become false. If it is become false, it directly jump outer loop, right? But outer loop condition, previous condition was not false. It's a true. So what happened? It directly go and here and increment the row value, I value. What is the value of I? It was 0. Now what would be the value of I now? 1. Now 1 is less than 2. Condition is true. Come inside. When it come inside, it will again initialize that value with a 0. So value of j will become what now? It will become a 0. Now it comes inside 1 and 0. That means second row, first column. Second row, first column. That means what? Which value? That means this 40 value. First row and sorry, second row, first column. So it will print what? 40 here. Yes or no? Now again, inner loop executed. J is 0. It will become 1. Right? It will print 1, 1. 1, 1 means what? The middle value. This one. 50 value. Okay. It will print a 50 here. Again, J will increment it. 2. It will print a 60 value. J will become a 3. Condition will become false. It will go to the outer loop. Outer loop is row. What is the row? 1. It will become a 2. Again, j will start with a 0, 1, 2. The moment it will become, again it goes outer. Again, I will become a 3. That means 3 is less than 3. Condition will become false. It directly come out of the loop. Until that moment, it has reached through all values. See the output. Matrix 0, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. It has printed all the values. It has printed all the values. If you want the values should be printed likewise, row wise. Okay. Once the first row is finished, I want to print the next value in the next line. So here, after the inner loop, you can take here one \n for new line. I hope you are getting this thing. This is for what? To enter into new line. Means after printing first row, right? To change the second row, because 0, first row is 0, right? Column will be 0. Then column will be 1, 2. After that, it has to change the column. For changing the column, it will come outside of this inner loop. When it comes out of the inner loop, it will find this \n. It will take the cursor into the next line. Then the outer loop, that is row, the next row will be incremented. And again, this loop will be repeated for 3 times. Likewise, just check the output. Now see, matrix 0, 10, 20, 30. After that, I want to shift to the next one. So 40, 50, 60. Next one, 70, 80, 90. These are the indexes. See, first row 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2. Then I need to change the row here. When I'm changing the row, I want the next line. That is the reason why I have given here \n here. Then row will be changed. Come inside. Again, it will print for the 3 times. Like 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2. Row change. 2, 0, 2, 1, 2, 2. It exactly appearing in this or no? You just check. It is exactly appearing in this manner only. Yes. Only the thing is what I'm printing the indirect directive. What indexes also. If I don't want that indexes, you can also do like this. Simply see how to do that. If I remove this one, I don't want this, for example, I don't want index. Okay, I'll give some space. Now see the output. You'll find only the values. Oh, sorry, something I missed. Oh, sorry, I have not removed this IJ here. No, I need to remove this also because there is no formatting here. If I'll print this, it will print the values. Let's say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Exactly in your matrix format. Yes, this is how simple, right? In this also, I'll tell one more thing. This is what I have declared as what? At the time of declaration, I have initialized. So how to initialize the two-dimensional array is also one kind of challenge. If you don't know the proper syntax, then it will be highly difficult to understand the concept. You can also take like this also. If I'm not wrong, sorry, just I'll do some exercise here. 40, comma. It will automatically, I guess it will take. Okay. I'm not sure, but we'll see. 70, 80, 90 and see. If I'll do the continuous what values without that separation curly braces, what it will do, it will take first 3 values for the first row, second 3 values for the second row, third 3 values will be the third row. See, there is no change in the output. So there are two ways to declare this, initialize the values to the two-dimensional array. But the better way is what? The just earlier one. That would be clearly, it's a readable. You can say that that is more readable, right? Readable means what? Easily understand. Okay, the first curly braces will be the first row, second curly braces will be the second, and third will be the third row, like that. So this is the static initialization. Okay, but actually you won't declare like this whenever you come to use this matrix. You want to take the values from the user. And we know that in our first one dimensional array, we have already seen, right, how to take the values to the array. Okay, here also the picture will be same. See, you have to use these three loops, two loops only, right? Exactly similar pattern, but only the thing is what, instead of this printf, you have to use what, scanf. That's all. For example, this program only, I'll change this into reading the elements from the two-dimensional array and printing the elements in the two-dimensional array. I'll tell you. Okay, for example, I'll just copy this because to save some time, Control V. Okay, so instead of what I will do, I'll print one message, enter the elements into array. Okay, and I'll remove this one. I don't want this initialization here. I want to take from the user 3 by 3. So you should know I need to enter the 9 elements. Okay. So loops will be same because the positions are same. Now here in place of this printf, you have to take what, scanf, because we are scanning the elements now. %d will be okay because one value only at a time you are scanning. But in here you don't require any format because you're reading the elements here, not printing. And here in just front of this matrix, you have to take compulsory address of, because this will take the values into the specified locations. I'll remove this all comments now. Enter. Okay, fine. I'll remove this also because already you can see in the previous one all these comments. Okay. The output may be differ. That is the reason why I'll remove this also. Not at all required to right. So this is this particular for loop here, we are reading the elements. I'll take comment like reading elements from user or console. Okay, and here we are trying to what, printing elements from the array. Okay, if I this thing will be the same because we are printing the same thing. Okay, I'll execute this. It will be asking for the arrays. Suppose this time I will enter like 100, 200, 300, 4, 5, 6. Oh, one gap is there. Probably it will take. mm, See, it's taking all the values 100, 200, 300. This would be the first row. Yes. 400, 500, 600 would be the second row. And 422 is the third row. That means it's working, right? This is the way to take input to the two-dimensional array, right? This is what we are taking the input from the user console, right? And how to print the values to the console. So I hope you have understood the entire concept of types of array. We have earlier started with the types of array, right? That there are two types of array, one-dimensional array and two-dimensional array. There would be one more type of array, that is a multi-dimensional array. We'll see later. That is not in that much in use in your programming language day to day. So two-dimensional array will be the advanced level of this array concept. Okay. So one-dimensional array already we have seen. I have explained in my video, in the earlier video. Just you go and just type in a Google arrays by Venugopal, you will find that. You go through that. That is a one-dimensional array, right? One dimensional means one bracket. Then we have seen the two-dimensional array means two brackets. Then I've shown the representation, right? How it would be represented. Of course, the memory structure would be the same as one-dimensional array, right? Because the contiguous memory locations, first three rows would be the for the first row. Then second three elements would be the second row, and third will be the third row. Then we have seen the one practical demo, how to read and write the elements into the array. Then we have already seen the static implementation of the array. So that's it for today's session. I hope you have got a clear idea. Please do comment and in the comment box, tell me how did you like these videos. And if you like, then please don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon. For more videos, keep watching. Till then, bye bye.